In Congress here recently, there has been something that's caused a lot of consternation on my part. I've had the privilege of being either tied for or being the most conservative member of the Congress, according to many different groups. But here lately, we have been juxtaposing national defense against national austerity and fiscal conservatism. And I am both, and there is a way to do both. But if we really care about our economy, if we really care about fiscal conservatism and fiscal sanity, then one of the top items on our agenda has to be national defense, because we can never create productivity, which is the source of all economic success, in an environment that is not secure. And I know that that is as basic as it gets. All of you understand that, but I'm astonished sometimes at some of even the erudite members of Congress in their zeal to protect the budget, which there's very few people more zealous about it than me, because I understand that it also represents a potentially fatal threat to our country. If we continue this debt and try to pretend that Congress can repeal the laws of mathematics on an ongoing basis, then I'm afraid that that could be more fatal to us than some of the military enemies that we face. But the reality remains kind of one feeds the other. You know, there's this argument over whether the chicken or the egg began, but the truth is, if you don't have a secure environment, you don't have anything. Nothing works. And I hope that somehow you all can continue to promote that foundational concept, because I'm seeing some of the best members of Congress, a group of members that you could pick your pallbearers out of, that are divided right now. I was in a meeting here just a little while ago that is talking about potentially $700 billion in cuts coming into the defense industry for the defense bill for the next 10 years. And if we don't defend the defense budget now, if we don't do that now, I promise you it'll be almost impossible in days ahead. We're in the frightening position, Frank and others, of maybe becoming considered to the left of Barack Obama on defense. Now, folks, I just got to tell you, that would have to constitute a suicidal impulse on my part, because if we find ourselves where Barack Obama can tell the country, well, listen, my budget has been more committed to national defense than these Republicans. If we do that, I just have to go home. I just don't think I could psychologically handle that. So for whatever that's worth, if that adds any additional motivation, I'd appreciate it, just for my own personal sanity, that you would make sure that we don't let that happen. Quickly, then, the second subject they asked me to touch on was the status of the SHIELD Act or other legislation protecting this country against the potential of either a geomagnetic storm or high-altitude nuclear burst, EMP. I know all of you know more about that, perhaps, than very few of us. So I hope that you will continue in the ways that you can to educate your member of Congress, because I'm seeing, Peter, a little bit of a movement in the members now. They're starting to be more aware of this. And it still is largely, you know, an esoteric issue that most of them just don't know about. But I'm seeing some growing understanding, especially on the Energy and Commerce Committee. And I've testified before the committee, and it seems like they are committed to seeing a bill come out of the House. I believe a bill will come out of the House. I don't know whether it will have some of the critical elements that are in the SHIELD Act or not. I won't try to unpack that for you. I'll let others do that. But probably just one issue I would say to you is to make sure that we have the ability to put hardware solutions into our grid, because apart from that, the industry is going to find themselves in a position where maybe our monitoring capability says there is a potentially significant EMP coming, and they're going to be stuck with, well, do I shut down or not? And if they do, we're going to have loss of life. If they don't, and it is a major tragedy, we could have even more loss of life. Either way, it's just an untenable conundrum that we should not put the industry in, and they need to understand that, because there's always the industry dragging their feet, and it's understandable with all of the, you know, the impulse to regulate that has happened over the years, and I'm probably the last one who wants to regulate. But let me say to you, this is a national security threat of the most significant and immediate magnitude, and we need to address it effectively. I think it's going to come out of the House. I hope it doesn't meet the same fate that it did last time, where they mixed the EMP provisions with the cybersecurity provisions, where everyone was essentially on the same page on EMP, or at least they were amenable. The cybersecurity provisions, everybody has a different way to handle that, and especially senators. You know, if you get 3 senators in the room, as you know, you get 9 opinions. So it's really a challenge to get them together on that, because it's a little bit more, it's just a little more diverse issue. And so I'm hoping, and we've made every effort to do that. Peter and others have helped do some tremendous work in that regard, and I'm hoping that we can get something out, and I hope you'll continue to promote that. And God bless Frank Gaffney and the Center for Security Policy. And I have to tell you, I saw the Accuracy in Media Group people down here. I'm so thankful for you guys, because I tell you, no matter what the Heritage Foundation and all the other good groups do, if we can't get it across in the media in an accurate way, and that's becoming more and more difficult, then we're disconnected from the people that we have to convince. So thank you all very much, and I appreciate what you do on behalf of my little 2.5-year-olds.